Namaste, blissful beings. It's a really fresh, beautiful, rainy, spring rain morning here in Tirana. And I wanted to try a little bit of a different format. I wanted to talk today about fasting and the energy of the day and see how this format goes, because meditation and presence is wonderful, but we also need the information and the knowledge of the powers or the forces that influence us, that rule the day, so that we may work with them in synergy, right? We've talked about this with some of you that we flow and practice with. So we want to not go against this energy, but we want to have the wisdom to recognize what the influence is and go with the flow. That's going literally with the flow. And then you can navigate, right? Just like a river. It bends, but it doesn't change the direction of the flow. Okay, so in order to be able to really synchronize with these energies, to rule your own energies, one of the most important things is our relationship with food. And the good news is that on the 15th and the 16th, we have Ekadashi. Ekadashi in yogic culture, it's a day that lends itself in the best possible way to fasting. Now we can do different types of fasting. You can just do a health fast. You can dedicate this fast to something, to an intention of yours. Or you can also do this as a regular practice, as a regular yogic practice. How do we fast? First of all, we need to enter the fast correctly. So no heavy fried food before we enter the fast, and we eat light and natural. Well, this is a recommendation really for every day, but especially when you're entering the fast. Try to avoid salty and sweet foods because that's going to give you cravings. Also, passionate foods, we call them. So onion, garlic, chili, pepper, those foods make you hungrier in a way. Chocolate, coffee, they also give you the desire to eat more and to kind of shift into the passionate gunas, we call them, so the passion foods that we want. So we have a little bit of chocolate, then all of a sudden we want a bit of coffee, then we have a bit of coffee, we want a little cigarette, and those things, they tend to pile up. So for these days, it's a wonderful time to really grab the opportunity to cleanse. If you've never fasted before, you don't have to eat nothing. So you can, if you feel that you're really hungry or you can't, you have to be at work, you need a little bit of glucose in the system, I recommend eating fruit, dried fruit, or even nuts. If you can't do that, then at least try to exclude meat and grains from your diet. So eat some vegetables, maybe you can try a little bit of some porridge or something like that, or maybe yogurt. So try to stay away from heavy foods, of course, and fried foods. If you can do a full fast, that's wonderful, and it's 24 hours. So you can start, for example, on Saturday and then end on Sunday. And it depends. You can also, Ekadashi is something flexible in the sense that when you're just starting, you can start the day before or the day after. So that's also something that you can choose because of modern life, right? You might have dinner with the parents, and the parents are like, what do you mean you're fasting? You're gonna kill yourself. So you don't need to explain that you're trying to transform your life and be healthier to everyone. You can do it without disrupting the system and also without scaring the people in the community around you. You can do it in a manner that suits your lifestyle. Yoga, again, it's about non-violence. Remember, we talked about the yamas and niyamas. One of the main ones is ahimsa, so non-violence. You should not feel that the fast is something violent. And, speaking of feelings, for those of us who grew up in post-USSR countries, we have a very unhealthy relationship with food because we have had a lot of hunger in these countries in the history, and that genetic memory, it's imprinted in our bones. So what we have, a lot of us, we have a feeling of hunger, but we experience anxiety. So we experience fear. We don't feel the hunger purely as hunger, because hunger, when it's pure, just feels nice. You feel light and you just feel very clear in the mind. You have a lot of energy because the energy is not being used for digestion, right? However, because we grew up with this genetic memory in the bones, the moment that we feel hungry, most of us, we actually fear for our survival, believe it or not. And as you know, we can all look around. We live in a very abundant place. None of us are starving. So we need to disconnect the idea of anxiety and fear from hunger. And we need to reinvent the idea that hunger is health. When I'm hungry, I'm vibrant, I'm alive, I'm healthy, and I'm gonna go after what I want because I'm hungry for the things, for the manifestations, for the intentions, for the goals and the actions, rather than to just put fuel in my body, right? And then when I do put fuel in my body, it's clean. You're not gonna put bad fuel in your car, right? So why would you put bad fuel in your body? You're gonna put the best organic food, clean ingredients, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients at a time, no more. Lots of healthy spices, and really watching the feedback of your body. So I would, if this is an interesting, by the way, topic, let me know. And I can also make a separate video about the yogic way of eating. And I can also tell you my personal food story. I don't know what's interesting, honestly. And I don't want to talk into the void. So I'm here for you, let me know. So that's what I wanted to say about hunger. So fasting during Ekadashi, mindful fasting, when you know that you're dedicating, that you're not suffering, you're not giving anything up, you're gaining a new relationship, a possibility, you're creating an opportunity to build a new relationship with food, a new emotional relationship with food. And this can last you for the rest of your life. Once it's done, once it's there, once you've retaught the brain, it's there forever. You don't ever need to go back to reprogramming. That's the beautiful thing about our brain. Once you kind of are on that path, you're also going to feel so invigorated and energetic that you're not going to want a lot of things that you crave now and that you have told yourself, I have to give this up, I have to give up coffee. You don't have to give anything up. You have to give birth from the inside to a new condition of being, and in that new condition of being, you have a completely different relationship with everyone and everything around you, starting with nutrition, starting with the fuel that is inside of every tiny little cell of your body. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to say about the energy of specifically of the day today, the arcan, or the number that's ruling the day today, is the number 7. And what that means, it's a wonderful day to introspect, to be with yourself. Now, that also is very important because you should also be in society today. So you can't go into being alone, but when you're with people, when you're communicating, try to keep about, let's say, 40% of the attention on the outside world and 60% on the inside world. Okay, so this is a funny thing to say maybe in percentages, but I think you will, if you try the feeling throughout the day. So with the communication, with the awareness, when you're in your job, when you're with your family, even when you're talking to yourself today, it's also important to be very, very honest. Now, honest doesn't mean to criticize. Oh, I don't look good today, I'm being honest. No, that's not constructive. So I would like to look better. It's something that is honest, and maybe I'm unhappy with the way I look, or I feel happy with the way I look. Whatever it is that you feel, it doesn't have to be negative, right? It can be also very positive. It's important to acknowledge that today and to be very, very honest. It's gonna help you to clear your Vishuddha, and this chakra is the number 1 chakra responsible for your social realization, social status, and your ability to create abundance. Okay, speaking your truth starts from the inside, so it's responsible for your thoughts, it's responsible for your words, but it's also responsible for your actions. This is the center, and today is the day that you can really reinforce this center. Say the honest truth, be courageous, but also be very kind. As also, you remember in the videos Yama and Niyama, you can check them out there in the shorts on the YouTube channel. You can also check them out. Their recommendations, I typed them all up personally. Each one of them is made by me, so that's all for you, with my greatest pleasure. And so one last thing I want to say about the energy of the day is the word pride. Okay, so the word pride also comes here. So as much as it's a beautiful day for honesty, for openness, for introspection, for understanding your inner self, and for exploring your inner truth and really focusing on what you want, what you need, not only in the material world, but in general. How do you want to feel? What do you want to give? What do you want to be able to achieve and change, maybe, right? And then on the other side is pride. Pride is gonna spike today. It's gonna spike a lot, and it's going to trigger you. It's going to try to tickle your fancy somewhere. It's gonna try to really get under your skin. So again, if you're introspective, if you're following the first rule, you're gonna have no problem with catching yourself in feelings of pride. And let me say something about pride so that we all understand. There is no shame in pride. Pride comes from the idea that I don't have enough love. And so I need to put myself above others to feel that I'm worthy, okay? It's just a messed up formula in the brain. It's a broken formula, and we can reprogram the formula. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or that you have a huge ego. On the contrary, you're growing your ego to compensate for something that you actually need, which is love. So open your heart. It can be even painful and scary at first, but the rewards are impossible to describe in words. It's above and beyond when you start to realize that you can rule your life based on love, based on compassion and acceptance. So try to accept more today. And the last thing I want to say also about pride and acceptance in this center is, every time that you're shocked by someone's behavior, you're surprised that someone is doing something in a weird way, wrong way, whatever you call it in your mind, you can even say, oh, I'm so surprised. It's all hiding the same thing. Ignorance means I haven't seen enough of the world to know that there are extremely different scenarios everywhere. So it shows the ignorance. I'm very small, I'm living in my tiny world, and I can be so easily shocked by people's behavior. And second, it says that you're judgmental. And the reason you're judgmental is because we are afraid that others are judging us. So we go ahead and we say the best defense is the attack, right? So I'm gonna attack, I'm gonna judge the world first to make sure that if I'm judging all the things around me, and the brain does this automatically, by the way, you have no control of this, you just don't have to follow it. That's what I'm talking about. You can catch it, but not act on it, right? Because it's still there. We judge everything. Fat, small, big, red, blue. It's a judgment. Even when we drive the car, we have to judge the distance. So judgment in it of itself is not a negative aspect of our humanity. But what we do with it is, if we are missing love, here, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 all of this stuff, all the programs that we carry, if I'm not dealing with this honestly, it's going to manifest itself as a form of judgment and always being surprised, and in my mind giving instructions to people, why this person parked there, why can't they move faster, why are they doing it this way? All of this is just destroying you. It's blocking your heart, and it's blocking your ability to create abundance, because the story that you tell yourself is exactly what every tiny cell in your body believes. There is no joking for the mind. Whatever you say, even as a joke, your cells say, yes, please, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and they obey. And that's the beauty of it, because if you learn to use that, imagine the possibilities. And I really mean it. Start imagining your possibilities. I truly love you all so much, and so grateful for every single soul being here. I really, really believe we can start a deeper exchange, and we can change from the inside. As Confucius said, it's you, your family, and your community. Let's begin the ripple effect together. Namaste.